everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is something I've been wanting to talk about with you guys because you guys all know I got my nose done, but before I got my nose done, I did something else that I don't think I've ever mentioned before. So that's why I'm like, let me make a video about this because I know a lot of people are probably wondering the same thing that I was wondering before I did my nose. So I actually got filler in my nose before I got my nose done. I'm gonna be showing you guys pictures throughout the whole thing because I did this a few times. I didn't like the effect of it, and I'll tell you guys why. So you guys all know I had a bump on my nose. That's why I got my nose done. So before I went through with the surgery, I would say like a year or 2 years before I got my nose done, I got nose filler in my nose to get rid of the bump. So basically what they do when they put filler inside of your nose, when they want to make your nose look smooth or thin it out or whatever it is, what they're doing is actually adding to your nose. So they're not making it smaller, they're actually making it bigger. So say I have a bump right here, they're gonna fill this and they're gonna fill this to make it straight. Nose filler is not the same as getting surgery at all. It's completely different. So I'm gonna tell you guys my experience with the nose filler and why I decided to get my nose done even though I put filler in my nose. Okay, so for me, the first time I ever did this it was a long time ago, but I know I was seeing like those Instagram ads everywhere about before and afters of nose filler, and I'm like, oh my god, how can you do that with nose filler? Like, if I don't have to go through a surgery, why would I go through a whole surgery when I could just use a nose filler? So I asked the cosmetic nurse if she could do that for me, and she said yes. So I'm like, okay, like go ahead. At first I asked if she had any before and after pictures. She didn't. So I'm like, okay, go ahead, but like, can you tell me what you're gonna do, like where you're gonna put it? So for me, she added some right here, and then she also added a tiny bit in the tip. I will be honest with you guys, it looked good. Once she finished, I was like, I don't even need a nose job. Like, I don't even need to do anything else. This is perfect. I love it. I love the results. From the front, my nose looked more even. Like, it didn't even look like there was anything wrong with it. You couldn't even see the bump or anything. You couldn't see the bump from the side. It just looked so good. So I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I'm just gonna continue doing this. Like, my nose looks good. I love the way it looks. Even in selfies, it was looking nice. I liked everything about the nose filler. It didn't really hurt. I know there's some things where like you can paralyze your face if they hit a vein in this area. So I was scared about that. But once she did it, nothing happened. I was fine. I didn't even have bruising on my nose. So that's why I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, this is the best thing ever. Like, why didn't I do this sooner? So obviously you guys know when you get filler, when you get Botox or whatever you get in your face, it swells up, right? When she did that, I loved how it looked. Like, it was probably swollen, but I loved it. I'm like, this is so nice. It's like perfect. This is exactly how I wanted my nose to look. It was like no bump, no nothing. Obviously now I have a nose job, but I'm going to tell you guys why I ended up getting a nose job. So after you do the nose filler, when your nose is still swollen, it doesn't look swollen. It looks so good because of the filler. Obviously, the swelling goes down after like a week or 2 weeks, and then it starts looking how it's gonna look, right? When my swelling went down, my bump came back out. Everything looked exactly how it was before I did it. So then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe she didn't put that much. Maybe I should have added more. Maybe I should have told her to like put more in my nose and make it like a really strong like slope shape or something, because it was my first time. I wasn't really sure about it, but I did want to try it. So that's why I tried it. And obviously I didn't tell her to put a lot because I was nervous. It was my first time. A week or 2 weeks later, the swelling goes away, my nose goes right back to normal. It's like I never even touched it, I never did anything to it. It didn't even look like she put any filler in it. Like, my bump was back, everything was back to normal, okay? The effect didn't even last like over 2 weeks. The second time I went to her, I told her, okay, can you add a little bit more, because I did love the way it looked, but it went away right away. So she's like, okay, yeah, I'll add more. She went ahead, did the same thing, added right here and right here. And then 2 weeks passed, same thing happens. It goes right away. So my bump is back, everything is back to normal. And I'm gonna show you guys the picture so you guys can see for yourself, because I did love the result of it. Like, I'm not saying I didn't like it. No, I loved the result of it, but it didn't last. So imagine paying like $300 to $400 every 6 months, and the results are only lasting 2 weeks. Like, it wasn't worth it at all for me. So it got to the point that I just stopped doing the nose filler, period, because it wasn't lasting at all for me. It wasn't even worth it at that point. It was lasting like 2 weeks at most. And like, it's so frustrating when you love how it looks and then like a week or two later, it's gone. It's back to normal, you know? It's like you never touched it. And then also you're spending that much money on top of it. It was like such a waste. So that's why I ended up getting my nose done. So obviously I knew that filler is not permanent, but I didn't think that the results were only gonna last like 2 weeks. I expected it to last at least 6 months to a year. So they're basically putting the same filler that they put in your lips. So if it's, I'm trying to think of the name. I think the name of it is something with an R. I have to look it up and I'll put it on the screen. The filler that she used was filler that you put in your lips. When you get your lips done, aren't those supposed to last like 6 months to a year? So that's why I expected my nose to also last that amount of time, but it didn't. It lasted like 2 weeks at most. So after doing all of that, I completely stopped putting filler on my nose because I was like, okay, it's not worth it. It's risky also because of this area. I didn't think it was worth it at all. And I did try it multiple times because I'm like, okay, maybe it was just that time. Maybe she didn't put enough. Maybe my body reacted. I don't know. I wasn't sure. I know for a fact that every time I did it, it went away after 2 weeks. And then when I stopped doing it completely, I like had decided that I do want to get my nose done, like permanently done. So when I talked to my doctor about everything, if you guys have seen my other video on my nose job, then you probably know like all the details. But when I saw my doctor, I had told my doctor I have nose filler. I might have some left over in my nose because I had nose filler previously. So he said, okay, once I go in for your surgery, I can take it all out. So like once they opened me up, he took it all out. And I don't even know how much was left. Like, I don't know any of the details about that. But my nose didn't really look like I had any filler in it because I still had my bump. Everything was the same, you know? But I just told him just in case, like, I didn't know if it would like affect my nose job in any way. And also I wouldn't want him to go in and then see the filler and he'd be like, what the heck? So like, I felt like I should tell him beforehand, which I did. And so he said it's completely fine. Like, he still did my nose job and everything. And I actually love the way it turned out. So when I did filler, it obviously didn't look this good. Like, it just looked straight. So right now I have a little bit of a slope. When I did filler, my nose was just straight. My mom would always say it made my nose look bigger, which that's actually what it does, but it gives an illusion that your nose looks smaller when it's like, you know, straight. So yeah, with filler, it does make your nose bigger. When you get your nose done, your nose does get smaller because they're literally shaving it and stuff. So that's a big difference between the two. The prices though, I feel like in the end, they end up being the same thing because with filler, you're paying consistently for years, you know? With the nose job, you're paying once and it's like done. Unless obviously you need a revision or like something happens. So in my case, I'm so happy that I ended up going with an actual nose job because filler did not work for me at all. If you guys are doing nose filler and it actually stays and looks good, then that's good. Like, continue doing that because for me, it didn't stay. And so far, I'm really happy with my nose job. Like I said in my previous video, I made that video when I was like 1 year post-op. Now I'm probably a year and a half post-op or almost 2 years post-op because it's May and I had my surgery in August of 2021. Some doctors say that your swelling doesn't go down for like, I don't know how many years, but I'm happy with my nose. I'm happy with how it looks now. For me, surgery was 100% worth it. The pain and everything, honestly, the surgery wasn't even painful for me. I enjoyed my time laying down, like, you know, relaxing. It was just like really nice for me. And there was no pain, just pressure and you're uncomfy, but that's about it. With nose filler, it's not really painful either. I know she would put numbing cream on my nose. It wasn't that painful. I don't really remember. Each nurse has like their own different price, or doctor has their own different price for nose filler. So I'm not sure how much it would be for you guys. For me, I think it was around like $300-400 each time. So yeah, it ends up being the same thing. If you're gonna consistently get your nose filled rather than like just getting surgery, it ends up being the same price over time. So now that I have my nose done and it's been like almost 2 years, I'm gonna talk about like my swelling and stuff when it swells back up and all that stuff. When I go to sleep at night, my husband loves to sleep with a fan, like 2 fans on. The AC is so high, so like I'm shivering all night, and I'll sometimes use a heating pad. What happens is I wake up and my nose is like huge, because when I'm using a heating pad, my whole body becomes like so hot, and you know when you're hot, your whole face gets like stuffy. So I get stuffed up, and then I wake up with a huge swollen nose, huge. I just wake up and then I'll massage it. If you see my day in the life video, in the beginning of that video, I showed how I massage my nose like this. When I massage my face, that helps so much. My nose ends up going down little by little, but it does end up going down. I'm trying to think of other things. I don't tape it anymore. I stopped doing that. I think when I made that video is when I stopped doing that. I feel like it's like I never even got it done. Now I don't have to do anything for it. It's so nice to have like a actual nose job, because you don't even have to think anymore about it. You don't have to think about, oh my God, it looks bad, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, no, now it's done. The swelling, most of the swelling went down. Like, I love how it looks. I don't even need to do anything to maintain it, you know? If you guys have any other questions about my nose surgery, about anything else, comment down below and I'll make a video for you answering them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about the difference between nose filler and then having a nose job. Love you guys so much. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye.